Kyle here from All Media Reviews, here to do another Pure Reason Evolution video in the series, which today is Friday. I wasn't able to do this yesterday, unfortunately, but so I'm going to try to do both the previous record and the new record. And I can just show, I did get my copy in the mail of the new record, Come to Consciousness. So, but this video is about Above Cirrus, I believe it is. Their album from 2022, the second sort of reunion album, you could say. The second album on Inside Out. No, it actually says Sony Music. Well, I think maybe Inside Out got bought out by Sony, ironically, but Cinematic Wonders, Psych Prog Wonders, Pure Revolution. Yeah, I still have that. This came out May 6th, 2022. So, following up Eupnia, it was like a little over 2 years after this. Kind of like with Hammer and Anvil, it came sooner than probably a lot of people expected. I think Eupnia, despite everything with COVID, was successful enough, and the band themselves had a good experience making Eupnia, that's why they made this other record not that long after that. And, you know, in May 2022, there was a lot of records that came out. I think of that, was it Coheed and Cambria and The Family Crest? Those are the two that was when we had to put down our cat latte, unfortunately. But I got the standard black vinyl for this album, Above Cirrus. So it came out, I think it actually came out the same day as at least one or two other records I like. Not those two necessarily, but because I think, yeah, Family Crest was later, but there they are, you know, the band, Greg Jong included. Weird cover with, it's like a lion, like a mountain lion or something like that. But Cirrus is like referring to like a cloud, I guess I was just reading about. So like above the clouds, or what else did what else did Google pull up? Cloud forming wispy filament-tutted streaks. So, and the last track, Lucid, they mentioned that. You know, as much as I appreciate and liked a lot about Eupnia, the issues that we're kind of at the point, and then maybe even more now, with that sort of emphasis on industrial guitar riffs, industrial rock guitar riffs, were very much present on that and present on this record. Although, having revisited the two records the last couple days, that just did wonders for the records. Having revisited both these records the last few days, while I think Eupnia might be a little more ambitious, I think maybe in some ways because this record, I'm concerned about what has just happened to this. This record is a little bit, yeah, I did something to that. That's lovely. Wonderful. I think Above Cirrus ends up pulling, I think it works a little bit better in the sense that I don't think the density of the recording and the production goes on for quite as long, but at the same time it doesn't have as many big moments. Now, this album includes songs like Scream Sideways. That from the get-go, that was my favorite track, and it still is, I'd say. I think it works the best. Although it's not without some of those sort of industrial guitar riffs, but it's kind of a slow burner. This album is filled with like mid-tempo, it's almost like sludge metal. I mean, it's not metal, but it's that kind of approach to songwriting where it's mid-tempo, methodical at points that leads to certain big parts. Scream Sideways, there's one moment they do kind of a Queen thing, but they do like a shrieking high-pitched vocal, like a group vocal, gang vocal. And there's some jazzy moments, and I think Scream Sideways, it's the longest track on the record. I think it's like a little over 8 minutes, I think. Actually no, it's 10 minutes. It doesn't feel like excessively long. It flows. I mean, it's very atmospheric, and I like the little jazzy bits. I mean, it's to me that they with this album, with the last album especially, they like had certain bits they created, they came up with, and they kind of put them together. But I don't know. I mean, is it melodic? Yes and no. But I just feel like Scream Sideways, there's just, it has, like 2-3 minutes in, you get this kind of rhythm with the piano and guitar textures that kind of is very infectious. It's got a good groove to it. And it kind of has a good climax. The industrial guitar part in the climax kind of doesn't bug me that much. It's fine. Then you have songs like Phantoms and Dead Butterfly, which are both, I wouldn't call them ballads exactly, but a lot of layering of the vocal use. I mean, again, there's some more distorted guitar riffs on both those tracks. Every track on this album actually has that, which I remember initially when I heard this, that was kind of my impression, is like, well, there's a lot of moments in here that I like, but it's just a lot of heavy distorted guitar riffs. Like, we're getting industrial guitar riffs. But, you know, I again, the songs are not, they're more refined. They're more refined in some ways. So my issues with those like emphasis on the guitar riffs doesn't get too much. It's a little more stripped back, I guess you could say. New Kind of Evil was one of the singles. That's again a sort of a slow burn ballad of kind. I mean, at points it seems like a ballad. Cruel Deliverance, Atmospheric, Lucid is pretty. And that's, I hope that's not the last song that Chloe Alper ever records with them, but you know, Our Prism is fine. I mean, it's got that riff at the beginning, and one thing they do use on this is they use some samples, which they had used like on Blitzkrieg, of course. So I mean, they'd done that before. It's not like that they never used samples before, but they seem to kind of, there's a space rock, they bring back a little bit of the space rock to this in that sense with some of the samples. Which I'm not going to talk about it yet, but I think that they make some sense why they might use more of that when they followed this. So, yeah, I mean, it wasn't as well received as Eupnia, which, you know, it's like, I feel like it's a different record from Eupnia, but it has a similar kind of, from a fidelity and production standpoint, it has similar productions, and so much that I think certain songs could be on each record in a way. I also think that while there are the vocal harmonies at points, clearly to me they've removed or changed their approach to sort of with the lush emphasis on lush complex vocal harmonies. They still have some in there here and there, but they're not as memorable either. That's the thing. And so that's largely why I haven't listened to this record, or Eupnia for that matter, but nearly as much as the other records. But I think in some ways it works a little bit better than Eupnia's. It seems like the songs don't overstay their welcome, I guess, for better or for worse. You know, I guess it's, I also kind of concluded that for this record and Eupnia, I definitely have to be in the mood for this kind of dense rock, dense sort of, you know, textured rock music. And I think they kind of reinvented their sound. I mean, they're taking some similar moments from their original sound, or even the first three records. You really look at like Deus Machina and one or two tracks on Ham and Anvil, and they kind of, you know, blew that up. And then largely, I think, Bullet Hike. Because, I mean, John Courtney, you know, I don't know what share of the songwriting was between him and Chloe on these two reunion records they did. But I don't know, I kind of wonder if the guitar riffs was largely his emphasis. I don't know, or maybe it was Greg Johns. I don't know. But I kind of just wonder if that's largely why they've done that. Because John Courtney, of course, had Bullet Height, which was also emphasizing that was almost overtly industrial rock. So, what's your take on Above Cirrus from Purism Revolution from 2022? And You know, I mean, it's an interesting cover art. You know, there's different elements. I mean, it has moments, but I mean, I feel like definitely they definitely have reinvented the sound of the band, and thus my passion for their music isn't what it was back in the day, of course. But you know, I'm super happy they've come back and made music, and you know, when I get to the next video, the last video, hopefully later today for this record, I'll elaborate more on that. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.